not surprisingly, I'm going to talk about stock gifting and why now is the best time of the year and what the opportunities look like for you. So first, kind of quick recap, why stock? That's really where the money is. This is where household wealth is concentrated. It's in their brokerage accounts. When we say stock, we mean stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, any securities that can be traded on an exchange. So today, 2/3 of US households, 100 million Americans own trillions of dollars in equities. And that's, again, where their wealth is concentrated. It's where they have the most to give. So think of it's the much bigger, if you're instead of we're looking at credit card capacity or checking account when they're thinking about giving you cash and balancing their budget next month. Their much deeper well is the brokerage accounts. It's also the most tax advantage way for donors to support your cause. When they donate appreciated stock, instead of making the terrible mistake of selling it and trying to send you the cash after that, if they donate it directly, they can avoid the capital gains tax, which saves them a ton of money. You don't have to pay it because you're tax exempt. So it's a transfer of wealth, if you will, thinking about that from tax to the nonprofits. They also get to itemize the full fair market value. As long as they've held the stock more than 12 months, it is far and away the most sophisticated and smartest way to donate to your cause. It's also a big win for fundraisers. You get larger pre-tax gifts. It's literally giving you money instead of giving the government money. So not a political comment, it's just a fact that you'd rather give that money directly to you so you can put it to work. And it also paves the way for recurring gifts. And I'll talk more about that. Some quick stats to date. This is over the last 3 years. Average stock gift is about 5,600. This year, because the market has just been, if you're aware of having the markets, I'll show you a chart in a second. It's been an amazing year for the stock markets. The average gift is closer to 10 grand. So we're seeing much larger gifts this year. We've also seen now that 1 in 4 donors, after they make a first stock gift through us, end up making multiple gifts. We have donors that have made 10, 20 gifts over time because if they have these big returns on their investments, they have 2 choices. I can either sell the stock and take a big hit on tax, or I can share it with the causes I care about. So we routinely see donors coming in and just sharing their gains with the causes they love. And that's why they end up having much larger gifts, the repeat donors. So Q4 is go time. This is when 60% of all stock gifts are going to occur this quarter. October's already off to a really fast start. It's really exciting to see everybody already getting in the mindset of my year-end giving. I'm going to get ahead of it. The market's at all-time highs, and that's where we go to this next chart. This is the time to be harvesting stock gifts and out there inviting your donors to share their gains with you. Anybody that's been in the market more than a few years is sitting on pretty good gains. If they've been in the market 10 years, they're sitting on significant gains because the average portfolio is up about 300% or 4x. The NASDAQ, think about the NVIDIA and Google and Meta and all the Apple and the popular stocks, those are all up on average for almost 400% or 5x. So big gains. They're looking for ways to reduce their liability and their exposure to these stocks. And it's a great way by, again, enabling them to donate those gains to you. Now, on timing, it's important to note that we have a shorter giving season this year. So last year, Thanksgiving was on the 23rd. I think Giving Tuesday was on the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. This year, back it up 5 days. So we've now got a slightly shorter giving window. So it just means you got to be prepared, lock down, know your dates of what your flight dates are, what you're going to send to whom, and how you're going to go out about unlocking that generosity over the next few months, especially those last 5-6 weeks of the year. Here is a timeline. It's fairly prescriptive, and there's some key dates here. I'll kind of walk you through, and I actually have a slide on each of these too. So high level, you want to, and again, with a focus on how do you really open yourself up and enable yourself to get larger pre-tax stock gifts. I'll talk about this, is optimizing your website for stock gifting, introducing it to your donors. And then it's all Giving Tuesday, starting with launching your Giving Tuesday page in early November, getting those announcements out. We'll talk a little bit about that, but it's, again, frequency, consistency is really critical for residents, for them remembering and changing behavior. Those last reminders in early December, and then I'll talk a little bit what happens and why that's really the golden time to lean into stock gifting right after Giving Tuesday. So what does optimizing your site mean? First of all, it means creating a page or a section about stock gifting on your site. One of the biggest challenges of stock gifting is not many investors are aware of the benefits. It's still one of the best kept secrets in personal finance. Very few people that you talk to of means who have financial advisors are even aware of the tax benefits of stock gifting. So one is they need some education. Two, when they come to your site, they're not going to be necessarily looking to donate appreciated assets. They're going to have to you're going to have to make that available to them. But so it's important first having good content. This is an example of the Shriners page. They did an amazing job. This is another organization, a small sub 1 million organization, created a nice page, just using the content and the assets. All this is provided for you. And then, as mentioned, most donors are not going to be thinking about other ways to give when they come to your site. We're kind of programmed just to hit your donate button, go to your form, and give you a credit card gift or an ACH gift. Again, if you can kind of intercept them and make them aware there are other more tax advantage ways to share their assets with you, you can get much larger gifts. World Central Kitchen's one of our hallmark case studies as well. I think one of their keys to success is they have ways to give right next to their donate button. That makes it real easy for people to say, oh, wait, I had not thought about other ways to give. How can I give? And they have all the major ways to donate there. So having that up there in the sub nav is a really great tactic. And I think it's really what's helped them really transform the way that they're engaging their donors. Also, if you can add a link to your page, this is another area. And this is, again, depending on what platform you're using. Sometimes is not so easy, depending on who your fundraising technology platform is. But in examples where you can put that in there, just remind people, like, there's more tax advantage ways to give. Before you give us $500 on a credit card, you might be able to give us $5,000 in stock. So making that easy. And then after your site's optimized, you want to do some outbound communication, some education. Emails and direct mail, still great tools, especially when you're thinking about stock donors, 80% of whom are over the age of 55. So keep in mind, they still a lot of them still like the direct mail. We think of email as super efficient, environmentally friendly, but there are some people who still like to touch the paper. So doing some outbound education, both through direct communication through email and direct mail, supporting that with social media, any signage you're doing, TV spots that you can put a QR code on there. There's a lot of ways to touch people. And the key here is frequency. Kelsey actually mentioned this earlier. You can't tell somebody something one time and expect to change behavior. So you have to tell them several times. In advertising, the magic number is around 7 before people it sinks in and they remember it. So keep that in mind, that consistency. As Kelsey mentioned, don't worry about the fatigue. Now, Jessica's got some good tips too about how to avoid fatiguing. But I think if you can find that balance between being consistent on message in a cadence that is acceptable and comfortable for your donors based on where they are demographically, socioeconomically, then that's really the sweet spot of trying to find a way to just remind them over and over. Then launching your Giving Tuesday page. These are the same assets that Kelsey mentioned earlier. You'll have it a couple places here in the deck. But educating your donors, I love the idea of a pledge, asking them in advance when they come to that page, will you commit to giving to us on Giving Tuesday? It's such an easy tactic. You can literally, most of your web administrators can set up a form for you in about 10 minutes. So I definitely would lean into that tactic. And again, early November, when you get throughout the month of November, again, consistency, messaging, reminding them, announcing the campaign, sending reminders. Keep in mind, this is happening at a busy time. There's Thanksgiving, there's Black Friday, there's Cyber Monday, there's Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday says that to remind your donors to save some energy for Giving Tuesday, right? They don't just blow it all out on Cyber Monday, but reminding them that that's a big day. That's, as Jake mentioned earlier, kind of when the starting gun of the final few weeks of the giving season, and then sending those final reminders. Support us tomorrow. Today is the day. Come help us make the most of this wonderful day of generosity. Now, after Giving Tuesday, this is what's really exciting for me as we focus on stock gifting. These are the busiest weeks of the month of the year. This is when a huge surge of stock gifting takes place. This is last year. Last year's Giving Tuesday was on November 30th, if I'm not mistaken, 28th maybe. I don't hold me to the exact days, but what we saw was a spike around Giving Tuesday and then kind of a plateau for the week. And then we saw each week a gradual build all the way up. This is the week beginning, by the way, not ending. So this is end of year right here. we saw a gradual build up until a few days right before the holidays. So things get a little dark, a little quiet in those couple days leading up to Christmas. But right after that, again, the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, you see another surge. So this is when a lot of people who are maybe behind in their year-end tax planning, they're thinking about how much do I need to donate this year? How much can I donate to really make the most of my income? And again, take advantage of that, starting that post Giving Tuesday, the after giving the day after, and start thinking about educating them. Give them a few days to digest everything, and then around the 10th is a great time to start reminding them, hey, if you're doing your year-end tax planning, remember to donate appreciated stock. It's the best way to support us. You save, we win. It's a win-win for everybody. With that, here's a couple assets we'll make available. Again, this will all be in the email that we send to all the registrants. Thank you for attending, and you can download these materials directly from the email we'll send out to you later. A playbook, a toolkit. We'll include the links that Kelsey mentioned as well, so you've got a lot of great content and guidance. And we'll also be doing weekly or twice weekly sessions over the next basically 6 to 8 weeks to help with year-end preparation. So if you have questions, in our email too will be a link to come to a playbook Q&A session. Happy to fill in any blanks you have.